Hearts' bid for a place in the top 6 of the Scottish Premiership failed, but how will Tony Bloom's bid go as he tries to earn 29% of the Jambles? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football, and today, Brighton owner Tony Bloom, he's officially going for it. He has made a formal offer for just under £10 million to take a 29% stake in Heart of Midlothian. This seems to be the next step, the next move in the whole Jamestown analytics. Tony Bloom, £10 million investment. Hearts becoming the best team in Scotland. This is like, I guess, if the Jamestown analytics was step 1, this is like step 2. Tony Bloom throwing his hat in to the bidding war here. £10 million for a 29% stake at Hearts.
What step was Neil Critchley then? Are we forgetting about that? Do we take that one out? Is it a ramp we're using now, or is there any steps?
That was a misstep, that was.
That's
like when you trip going down the stairs and break your neck. That's what Neil Critchley was.
Like, I know Tony Bloom's got no real business with Neil Critchley, but the Jamestown analytics credibility goes out the window.
Yeah, apparently they that deemed Neil Critchley be the man to take over, so I don't really know how that happened. But anyway, the proposal will be considered by Fans Group Foundation of Hearts, the major shareholder in the Scottish Premiership club, and must receive more than 50% approval from its members to be successful. So more than half of the members will need to approve this. I think that they will. A consultation period will end on the 26th of May, with the vote taking place after an extraordinary general meeting is held. Bloom would be purchasing non-voting rights shares, which would not impact the 75.1% voting rights held by FOH. If successful, Bloom would also be entitled to one place on the board, but is expected to appoint a representative rather than take up the position himself. FOH is recommending the terms are accepted, and should this happen, the Scottish FA would then be required to give its approval for the deal to be concluded. I can't see many issues there. I think the deal will be concluded, personally.
No, the deal will be concluded, but so does this basically mean that Hearts is worth about 36 million as a football club?
I don't necessarily think so, no.
So
I see where you're plucking that logic from.
Aye, I'm working at your 10%.
Yeah, but didn't Mr. King pay £1 for 100% of Rangers? So it's like
double.
So I mean, you can make fun of how little Hearts are worth, but
I'm not.
But at the end of the day, I believe Mr. King bought Rangers' entire football club for £1. So
what would you rather have?
That wasn't a wee percentage.
I wasn't even a dig for me. I'm just genuine.
What was a dig for me?
I know, but are you surprised?
Counter punch.
Are you surprised Hearts are worth that much?
No.
But why are they worth that much?
What do you mean, why are they worth that much? Capital club, third biggest club in Scotland. I think the answer for themselves.
Relegation, championship fodder though.
I mean, you could say that. I would say that Hearts.
Must be like European money.
Listen, you can say.
But is it no a sad state of affairs? I know it's a different. When you see like Man United going for like 5 million, and Hearts are going. Tony Bloom's putting in a measly.
Hearts 5. You just said Man United 5 million.
Billion. I said billion.
You said million.
Well, I meant billion.
Aye, well, get your facts right.
What would you rather have in your bank account? Right, £1, 9.86 million, or 5 billion.
Probably the 5 billion, like, you know what I mean?
What have you got closer to? King?
Mr. King. Hello, Mr. King. Aye, anyway, enough of that shite. So, where are we? In a statement issued to its members, FOH says the proposed investment is a personal one, and Hearts will not become a feeder club for Premier League side Brighton or Belgium's Union Saint-Gilloise, where Bloom is a minority shareholder or part of a multi-club system. It also says Bloom believes Hearts can disrupt Scottish football and that he wants to be part of a glorious chapter in the Edinburgh club's history. So Bloom there referring to the fact that he believes Hearts can do something in Scottish football and he wants to be part of it. It would be glorious. It would be a glorious chapter. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah, it would be glorious, right? And let's actually get one. See, winning leagues, that is You know, that's what every team should really want to do, even if it is far away. But you know what? There is no excuse for Hearts no winning cups. And
No,
I
I
think I
agree.
think that should be the short term aim with this.
I agree. People are going to say realistically Hearts can never win the league, but I think if you're Hearts, Hibs, and Aberdeen, and you are the third, fourth, and fifth biggest club in Scotland, and I really don't care which way you try and put it around, which order you want to stick it in.
Hibs are fifth.
Is it not poor if you're sitting here with the mentality, we'll never win the league in my lifetime, and you're arguably third in the pecking order, but you've got this like mentality that can never win the league in my lifetime?
No, I totally agree.
You know,
but not the
I,
top.
I get the gap's bigger, but I just can't think of any other country where it's like that. Where like the third team in England would be like, well, maybe the third team in England's a bad example because I think it's an underdog right now. But you know, you get my point. Like Atletico
Yeah,
Madrid.
but Newcastle have got much more of a chance of winning the league than any of these three.
No, they do, and I get it. The money in the bigger leagues can certainly make a difference, but I just think I think it's sad when you hear like Tony Bloom talking about Hearts winning the Scottish Premiership, and it's like laughed at as if it's impossible. It's like, well, fuck me. If the third, fourth, and fifth biggest clubs in Scotland can't even dream or can't even contemplate about winning a league title, then like, what are we doing here?
I think maybe he shouldn't even talk about league titles. I think he should say, I want to win trophies on the regular, and I want to compete in the league stages of Europe every season. Something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I get it. I think the first step is you want to finish closer, don't you, to Celtic in the league?
Yeah.
And what would that be? 40 points, 20 points?
It's not only that. Rangers have had an abysmal season and are still well clear of third.
Yeah, I mean, that's the worrying thing. Just Rangers so far ahead. It's unreal. Bloom's investment has been the topic of conversation for many Hearts supporters since his name began getting linked with the club last year. If approved, there is little reason to see why it wouldn't be. The cash will come at just the right time for the club. Obviously, with no European football next season, that's going to hamper Hearts financially. So they could certainly do with money. And if there is an additional 10 million being added for the transfer budget, then that will certainly help, especially if you can put that to good use with the Jamestown analytics and bring in players. So yeah, I know there's been some Celtic fans laughing and going 10 million is not going to do shit, but here's the deal, right? Hearts ain't going to fucking waste 10 million on Adam Adair. Hearts are going to be using that 10 million and using these analytics. They're going to be trying to sign like the next big thing, essentially.
Brock Lesnar.
At cheap, at a cheap price. That is what they're doing. Hearts ain't going to sign established players. Hearts ain't going to be spending like 5 million on two players. That's not what they're doing.
No.
And people need to actually fucking realise that.
They're going to spend about 10 million on 15 players.
See if Hearts were going to copy the Celtic way, then obviously 10 million is getting you nowhere. See if you're going to spunk up the wall on Adam Adair or Arnie Engels, then yeah, that's not going to get you closer. But I do believe that if you spend it wisely, then there is a chance.
No, I totally agree, and it's like you look at Rangers. They signed Danilo for 6.5, signed Jeffy for 600k, and even though Jeffy I think is pretty pish, he is only 20-year-old. It's like who looks like they've got much more of a future at Rangers? The one that they only spent like 600k, which will be the Hearts, bracket, or Danilo. It's obviously Jeffy.
I mean, even like a Matt O'Reilly, I don't think 1.5 million is beyond Hearts' spending here.
Hearts, Aberdeen pays over $1 million for Clarkson.
And if you can get players like that, then sell them on. You're making money and you're profiting. So
Hearts have just got to start winning cups, right? And I'm not saying a double each year, right? But I think for the teams outside the old firm, I think you have to be averaging like a cup every 3 years. Honestly, I think that's what it has to be. And I know I can't really talk because my team's no winning hee-haw.
Listen, realistic. Obviously, I'd like to sit here and say aye, but I do think that even that is probably a little bit unrealistic. I think it should be. I'd say a cup every 5 years.
No, but I'm going to disagree. I know why, because right. So 3 years, that's 6 cups, right? Realistically,
Yeah, but no, realistically, you're saying 3 years. Let's say Celtic and Rangers win 2 each. That only leaves 2 for the other 3 big clubs. Then
yeah,
what
but
about
if you're third,
all
if
the
Hearts are third with this investment, they're favourite. They're the next.
if Hearts are clear third, then I maybe would
But
agree.
look at this season. Hearts got a semi against Aberdeen. What did they do with it? They kept Critchley in charge because they're idiotic, and they get beat.
What I know is, I don't know if Hearts should be winning a cup every 3 years, but we should certainly be winning a cup more often than we have.
No, but
we'll have to go back to 2012. Now, what I will say is, right, I think Hearts are good at getting to Hampden. I think they're regular Hampden visitors. Can't deny that. In like 3 out of the 4 seasons, they got to the Scottish Cup final. That's good, but the big problem is they didn't win one of them.
Yep.
And I would rather get to Hampden once in 4 years and win it than get to Hampden 3 times in 4 years and lose all of them. And I know people are going to say obviously, but I don't think getting to Hampden, nobody really remembers it. See all these semi-finals? Yeah, Hearts gets to semi-finals regularly, but you don't remember that. Essentially, at the end of the day, what you remember is you remember winning, you remember lifting the trophy, and Hearts haven't done that since 2012. It has to change.
No, it does have to change, and I'll tell you this for free. So you look at England. When do like the third, fourth, and fifth biggest clubs go like 13 years without a trophy? They don't. That's reserved for the Tottenhams of this world. You know what I mean? And I don't think winning a cup every 3 years is too much an aim. I mean, you look at the.
I think it is. I think it's different though in England because to me they don't really care as much when it comes to the League Cup and the FA Cup, and I do think it's more competitive. The bigger teams tend to play younger players, and I just think you're more likely to get an upset.
I mean, no, but I understand that. But look at the League Cup, right? If you finish in the top 6, I know your wee club didn't, right? Or the top 5, whatever it is. But you're guaranteed last 16 seeded against the unseeded, which should mean theoretically that you're going to get into a quarter final, which means you're 1 game away for a semi final every year, and Hearts should be in the top 5. Make no mistake about it. So you're starting in the last 16 every year. To me, there's no excuse for the lack of teams that are winning trophies, and that goes for my team as well.
What was Brendan's excuse last year then?
When Kelly knocked him out?
Aye.
Well, that's unacceptable. That's bogging. That's no good enough.
Anyway, that's it. I'm looking forward to this. I believe the deal will go ahead. I can't imagine that more than 50% of the club will turn it down. So we'll just have to wait and see. 10 million coming in. Hopefully it's spent wisely. And I mean, it's just better for Scottish football. The more money in Scottish football can't be a bad thing. The more teams signing better quality players and bringing in more transfers and trying to be more competitive is going to be good all round. So.
And the more young players that come will mean more young players will come. They'll be like, oh, I can apply my trade there.
Absolutely. Anyway, guys, that's it. Let us know your thoughts down below and we'll catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.